we work with the entire healthcare system in Australia, but in the aged care space specifically, ultimately what we're offering is a workforce capability solution, and that consists of two components. Hundreds and hundreds of educational resources and modules, including mandatory training and competency-based learning that we can provide to actually upskill and educate the workforce. But then secondly, a software platform that helps you coordinate and orchestrate how that's assigned to your workforce for things like induction or annual mandatory training, policies, competency frameworks, and a kind of myriad of other things, surveys, needs assessments. We're really trying to touch on a lot of areas, including quality initiatives and continuous improvement programs, as well as meeting not met requirements, helping facilities overcome sanctions or issues relating to an audit. We were founded in 1987 by a nurse, Cynthia Wellings, and she ran the company up until March last year, and she handed the reins to me. She still sits on our board today and provides me a lot of great support in terms of contextualizing my experience, which is software, to the healthcare sector, which is her experience. We ran our first aged care conference in, I think it was 1996, and I think it was focused on the deregulation, the privatisation of the aged care sector at the time. In between probably 2005 and 2015, whilst we still supported the sector, our main focus was the acute care space. But in recent years, following the Royal Commission, we've really stepped forward. Education's been a huge component. Upskilling the workforce has been a huge component of a lot of the implementation and changes of the reform agenda. And we wanted to be at the table supporting providers to achieve that and the workforce themselves to achieve that. Our mission is to improve patient, client, resident care through effective education. And what we believe as an organisation is that in order for any change to take place, education will be part of that change. But education in its own right is also a change. And what we think is, if you spend $1,000 on facilities, you might get a new bench or pot plant, maybe some new markings on the car park. But if you spend $1,000 on education, you can change the culture of an entire facility. And in small organisations' case, an entire organisation. So we think that education has an outsized impact on the quality and safety and efficacy of Australia's healthcare system. As a system, we rank number one in the world for healthcare outcomes, according to a 2019 study. The Commonwealth Fund did a study into healthcare systems globally. And we think that's because at a system level, we do have a strong focus on education. And whilst it might not seem significant because the dollars spent are so minimal relative to things like infrastructure, the impact that it has is either equal to or even greater than the spend that goes on in infrastructure. If it was more tangible and physical, we think the spending would probably be 10 or 100 times more than what there is. And we want to advocate for that change. We think knowledge is power, and with greater knowledge comes greater care. I think at the end of the day, what we're trying to bring to market is an integrated solution. And what that means is that we build both software and content. We have capabilities based in Melbourne and around Australia to do both of those things. And that gives us a unique advantage because when those two things are done well, the learning experience is seamless, which means the change is more likely to happen. And you can only do those two things well if you control both sides of the equation, both of the inputs, right? So imagine you weren't able to control your own workforce, like 100% of your workforce was an agency workforce. That would really hinder your ability to provide quality care. For a lot of businesses that come from our Ausmed's roots, we were a publishing company originally, so we didn't make software. We started doing that in about 2005. But for a lot of businesses like Ausmed, they've not had control over the software, which is that delivery part of the information, which means they're locked down to a poor system or a poor interface, a poor experience. And then you have things like just being able to log in, getting in the way of whether someone does education or not. Because we control the software as well as the content, we create this really harmonious experience for the end user. We're able to build software that content companies can't, and we're able to build content that software companies can't. And that's what makes us a unique value prop in the market. I think at the end of the day, my personal mission in life is to finish my career being able to say that Australia and its communities were better off for my little contribution. And what makes me proud of my team and the culture that we have at Ausmed is that we have about 55 people showing up every day who aspire to give more and leave more on the table than they take off. Our first value as an organisation is generosity, and that's what that kind of amounts to, is giving more than we're taking as a service to the community, and therefore as a service to aged care providers. We'll always go that extra mile, and I think what that leads to is an abundance mindset. And if you think about some of the things that motivate people in any area of life, we look to the sector and we look to our business with an abundance mindset. There's always an opportunity to grow the pie for everybody. There's always an opportunity to improve things. It's not a scarcity mindset. We're not fighting over a finite resource. And that's what makes me proud to work at Ausmed, and it makes me proud to work with our customers. And I know that it activates and engages everybody here who works at Ausmed as well. Every change that your organisation wants to make today and is going to need to make in the years ahead is going to require the support of a highly capable education and software provider. My promise to you as the CEO of Ausmed is that we're that solution. And when you evaluate those solutions in market, what I'd encourage you to do is look where the business is going, not where it's been. Look where the supplier that you're seeking to choose or you're evaluating is going, not where it's been. Where Ausmed's going is that we want to become the dedicated learning and development solution for Australia's healthcare system. We want to have all the requisite content that you need built in. We have content partnerships with 20 publishers, including groups like DTA, OPAN in your space. And we want to build the software in a way that it meets the needs of your specific workforce requirements. We're not building solutions for other industries, aviation, retail. Our solution is exclusively and specifically built for aged care providers, even down to the point of having things like the standards built into our system by default so that your team doesn't have to waste time doing stuff, contextualizing a generic software to your unique context.